Today we're talking about how to receive like a wife and not a warrior. So congratulations on your engagement or your wedding. You may be wondering why so much is coming up for you as soon as you got engaged or got married, and what happened to all the romance? Why is there so much conflict suddenly coming up in your union? So I'm going to give you guys in this video some things that you can start putting in place immediately after your engagement or your wedding so that you are setting the foundation of your relationship correct and not feeling like you got on this hot mess express and you have no idea where it's going to crash. Okay, so first, before I actually give you the things that will start changing things in your favor, so we need to talk about why is this even happening? Why did things start going south, or the magic started going away from the relationship as soon as you got engaged or married? So when we are children and our parents are obviously doing the best that they can, there are, just as a byproduct of life, emotional wounds that can be created in us, right? Maybe there was a moment where you felt like your parents were favoring your brother over you, or maybe your parents were busy surviving. It's a crazy world out there, right? And they didn't maybe have the time to really give you the presence that you desired. Whatever the thing is, whether it's a small thing or a big thing, to a child's psyche, it gets kind of like trapped in us, and it creates these stories of what we know as like abandonment wounds, right? Like things that are attachment issues. So the best place to heal relational wounds are relationships. Our psyche feels like the closest place that resembles our childhood birth family is our romantic relationships. And so this is why when we are engaged to someone or we get married, all of these issues start resurfacing. So one thing that is like really amazing, I feel like, in my culture is they teach you this when you're getting married. They ideally, your aunt, your grandma, your sister, your mom, like they'll tell you, hey, the first two couple of years are going to be really difficult. You're just forming a bond, you're just forming an understanding. It's not going to always be this like high like emotion honeymoon phase kind of a thing, because of this reason that we think that the honeymoon is actually the first 18 months, and there can be like this like attraction lust period, yes, in the first 18 months. That's been scientifically proven. But actually the honeymoon starts, the actual forever honeymoon starts after 2 years of marriage. Now this pattern can be broken by having a girlfriend boyfriend stage. This is why I think it's a horrible idea to be in that situation. That's, I'll save that for another time. But you can start this process of like wanting to heal, except the relationship in a boyfriend girlfriend stage is not safe enough to start the healing process. So it's kind of like a faux relationship. But when you're truly engaged or married, all of your stuff and all of your husband's stuff will now start coming up in hopes of healing. Now, what happens when people don't realize this, or they haven't been trained to understand how relationships actually work and why the first couple of years can be really, really difficult, right? When they don't know this, they realize, uh-oh, I think I'm engaged to the wrong person, or oh no, I think I married the wrong person. You are always attracted to the right person to heal. Now, whether you decide to stay in that relationship or not, that's up to you, but you're always magnetically and psychologically attracted to the person that will bring up stuff in you that needs to be healed. Everything in nature, whether it's an animal, a plant, human beings, we're all always moving towards healing. So when all of this stuff shows up in your relationship and you don't know the skills, you don't have the tools to be able to not only heal yourself, but help heal your partner, there is going to be chaos in your relationship. Now, some couples deal with this in one of two ways. Number one way is they go into, oh no, this is not the right relationship, I'm with the wrong person, and they break up. So that's one way, in which way the healing doesn't happen. And so you will go and recreate the entire pattern with someone else, and you'll keep going through that cycle, because again, there's no healing that has occurred. Now, a second way that couples deal with this is they start walking on eggshells with each other. So for example, let's say that you just got married, you just moved in together, and there's all these like things happening. You notice when you say this, he reacts like this, and then you train yourself, okay, let's not say that. Or he notices that when he brings this and this up, you go silent for a couple of hours or days. Okay, let's not bring this up again, or let's not do this again. And on the surface, this may seem like a better option than breaking up. But again, also in this option, there is no healing that has actually occurred. You're just now learning how to walk on eggshells around certain topics and around certain situations. So of course, we don't want to be like poking at our partner's pain or bringing things up, but there is a third and better option, in which is actually being present and doing certain skill sets and relationship tools that can actually help heal not only you, but him, and will help you create this beautiful couple bubble, this romance bubble, so that your marriage is actually robust. And now you're looking at romance forever after. That means that your honeymoon is going to be for the rest of your life. Okay, what you get to have then is a union that not only feels very safe, but it helps both of you guys grow and expand into your highest potential. There's romance, there's friendship, there's partnership, and you're able to carry all of these different things in life. Like, we need all of it, right? Like, we need time for romance, we need time to just be good partners, we need time to be just friends. There's going to be all kinds of situations in your marriage through 60, 70, 80 years that you're going to be married, that you need to be able to navigate. And so doing this right in the early stages can help set that stage for the rest of your relationship. So the first place that I want you to start is with your one body practice. So there's like our own internal inner work, and then there is the inner work that we do together. A big mistake is trying to do inner work with your partner when you haven't done inner work privately. Oh my God, trust me, that is not pretty. I have seen it in my coaching practice, and it can get pretty ugly real quick when you don't have those personal like regulating tools and skill sets within yourself to be able to recognize patterns, pause in the pattern, and break the pattern. Otherwise, you're just reliving the same nightmare argument over and over again. So where I'm going to ask you to start is with my 3-week nervous system reboot. The nervous system reboot actually helps expand your vessel, your container, your psyche, to be able to hold all these blessings. Think of it this way, right? Like, before we get married, even before we start dating, we want our relationship so badly, right? Like, this is something we're desiring. This is something that we really, really want to manifest. Once it happens, it can be a lot for your psyche, right? There's like all this attention placed on you. There's all this sex that you're suddenly having. There's all this romance. It's like, like we're together all the time. There's all this fun. And yes, I wanted this so badly. And now your nervous system is like, can't even handle it. Like, your psyche is like, this is like too much of a good thing, because your vessel has not been primed to receive. So the number one thing that you can do to really open up your container is what I call it, your vessel, to be able to receive all of these blessings, which you know that you really desire and you deserve them, is to be able to start doing that like one body practice first. So start with yourself, start doing the practices in there. Now, a lot of my students and clients are now taking their nervous system reboot with their partners, with their children, with their mom, with their sister. So it is a course that's created to be able to be taken with other people. But I would first recommend is doing it as a one body practice first. Okay, now that your nervous system is primed and ready to hold all of this abundance that you have just not only manifested now, but you're going to continue manifesting more, right? Your marriage is going to keep growing and evolving, and you're going to have to learn to embody and hold and receive more and more and more in your relationship. So like, really priming your vessel is going to be something you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, because of course there's going to be more desires, there's going to be more love. Your marriage, when you do these foundational things correct, will always keep getting better. It's always going to keep evolving. Okay, so you've got the nervous system stuff right with the 3-week nervous system reboot. Now I'm going to give you 3 power moves that you can make in your engagement or in your marriage right now that are going to really set that stage and prime both you and your partner to start pair bonding together and start healing each other so that you can both show up as your best self, not your dysregulated self, not your wounded self, as your best self, as your highest self in your union. Number one is when there is a tiff, when there is a argument, when there is a trigger, when something happens, immediately allow the relationship to get to neutral. Okay, a lot of people will see this as, but we're like sweeping things under the rug, or if I let things get to neutral, isn't he just going to do it again? No. So what I'm not saying is, I'm not saying there's a huge blow up and you pretend like it didn't happen. But here's how my husband explained it to me so amazingly well in the beginning of our marriage. And this has been such a foundational thing that I've incorporated not only in our marriage, but in my body of work. Is he said that if there is an argument and then we pull back and we're kind of like working through stuff, we're like, processing things, going from there to like everything's fine, that doesn't seem authentic. And actually, that's actually sweeping things under the rug. But like being in this place of like conflict and then slowly allowing space for like, okay, we're not arguing anymore. Like we're starting to open up our body anymore. We're getting regulated. There's a space of neutrality. In that space, when there's like this rebuilding of the trust and putting marbles back into that emotional jar, from there you're going to be more primed to actually be starting to discuss things that are going to help you cure or heal the root cause of the issue. What this looks like in practical application is when there is an argument and you both kind of like pull away, take a breather, and a couple hours later, the next day, whatever, when your partner comes back to make up, to like fix things, that's not the time to reject him. That's not the time to like show him that you're still angry. Appreciate the coming back together. Allow the relationship to get back to neutral. This is the time to like, thank you so much for apologizing. I also apologize if anything I said hurt your feelings. Like just letting things be. And then coming back together when you're both kind of like feeling safe again to be able to discuss the actual issue or whatever happened in a way that actually promotes healing. So what we're not trying to do is keep arguing so that we're both heard. Trying to be heard in a dynamic when both or either party is dysregulated makes absolutely no sense, because when your nervous system is dysregulated or when he's dysregulated, your brain distorts the messages coming through. So for example, let's say that you said something or did something that triggered a childhood trauma thing in your partner, and you keep trying to be heard. The words and the tone coming out of your mouth is not what he's hearing. This is like really scary and weird, but this is what happens when we're in a dysregulated state. Is he is going to change the tone and the words of what you're actually saying into what his psyche is primed to hear based on his past. This is why you feel so misunderstood, because he's not actually hearing what you're saying. He's going to change the tone, he's going to change the words, and hear something completely different. And this is not because he's the wrong guy. It's just that that part of his psyche hasn't healed yet. And by the way, the same thing's happening with you. He might be saying one thing in one tone and you're hearing your dad say something else because of your childhood. But this is good news, because you're both there to heal each other so that you can be standing on this really solid foundation in your relationship. So let things get to neutral first so that you're both like in a regulated state so that you can actually resolve conflict and not just create more trauma in your relationship. Okay, the second power move that you're going to make in your marriage is you are going to keep your rotation after getting engaged or getting married. Now, before you're like, oh my God, is Mina saying I need to continue dating after marriage? Yes and no. I'm not saying you're going to keep the same rotation that you had that got you engaged or married. You're not going to be dating other men. You're going to be adding other things to your rotation. So when you get engaged or you get married, there should be a whole other array of beautiful things in your life so that you're not putting too much pressure on this one thing to be your entire like village, right? Like they say it takes a village to raise children. It takes a village to have a marriage. Like if you know the history of marriage, marriage is very much a tribal event. So it really does take an entire tribe to keep your marriage going. And now the way that we live and the way that we do relationships, it's very much just focused in on these two people. And so to take some of that pressure off and to keep your life full and alive, I want you to add a variety of things to your rotation. So for example, for me, I've been married for 16 and a half years, and my relationship with my husband keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger and more robust and more romantic because I have a whole rotation. So what's on my rotation? What's on my rotation is my inner work. I love doing inner work. I'm really into personal development. I love signing up for courses and coaches and mentors and trainings and all kinds of things. So that's a part of my rotation. What else is on my rotation is my friendships with women, my girlfriends, my dinners out, things that I do that are just for me and with other people that I have relationships with. So not like ending your relationship with your family, not ending your relationship with your girlfriends, but keeping that rotation alive is actually going to help your relationship. What else is on my rotation is at this point is my relationship with my kids, right? Like I have 3 kids. One is an adult now. And so once a week I go out on a date with my kids, and like that's a part of my rotation as well. What else is a rotation is my husband and I are still dating. So we have a daily date night, and then we have a weekly date night where we actually like go outside of the house, and he's got like a date plan, and we both get dressed up and all the things. And that's important because I wasn't his girlfriend before I got married, but I get to be his girlfriend for the rest of my life. Like we get to still have that like wonderful dynamic. So you keep your rotation. What else is on my rotation? My fashion, my interests, my hobbies, my business, the things that I love to do, the things that are life-giving, the things that fill me up with life and make me alive is something that is very important. Otherwise, you're just looking at your marriage and putting so much pressure on it as to be like providing you with all your excitement and all of your stuff, and then that's when it becomes dramatic, right? It becomes this dramatic roller coaster. Like I get my drama from my exciting outfits, from the TV shows that I watch. I don't need drama in my relationship. And so keeping that full rotation, even after you're engaged in marriage, is so essential, and it has like a very important like energetic presence in your union. In fact, I'm teaching an entire module on this in my From 50/50 to Provider course, which actually starts next week on May 20th. So if you want to join me live, there's live calls and there's recorded calls. I would sign up now, and then it will be turned into a digital only course in the future. But I would love to have you. It starts next week on May 20th. The link is in the description box. The third power move that you are going to make in your relationship to really start healing is what I like to call give, receive. This is really going to open up those portals of receiving, not only for yourself, but for your partner. Whatever your story is, that this is the one thing I can't receive from my partner. We like to create stories of like, oh, my husband's never going to do this, or I can't ever have this. There's always something. It's usually a thing that we didn't get in childhood. And that's why we manifested this exact partner. So he won't give it to us either. And so we can start healing ourselves. So whatever that story is. So if it's attention, let's say that you think that your partner is not going to give you attention because there's something in your childhood where you didn't receive the attention that you desired from your parents. So with using the give, receive model, you would first give it to yourself. So in those moments, especially when you're feeling really vulnerable, like your partner is not giving you attention, give yourself the attention. Not in the sense of like, I'm throwing myself a pity party because I'm never going to get it from him, so let me just give it to myself, but like really give it to yourself. And what that means is like really sitting with that really vulnerable part of yourself that feels like it can't receive attention. So you're going to give it to yourself. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to give it to someone else. So if it's attention, give it to yourself. and then give it to your partner, or give it to your pet, or give it to a friend. Give someone else the same thing that you desire. I can't tell you how healing it is to be of service, especially when we're in that mode when we need something. So give it to yourself first, us first, give it to someone else, and then this is the most important part: receive it. So when you're giving it to yourself, really receive it. And then receive it from other people, even when they're not giving it to you. This is a whole healing mechanism. In fact, we're going to be working on this deeply in week 2 in From 50/50 to Provider. And this is the most life-changing thing you can do. In fact, they've estimated that 10 years of therapy can't even come close to just a few moments of doing this in an actual relationship. That's the power of this work. So for example, let's say that my story is that my partner doesn't give me attention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit with myself and give myself attention. Not the stories, not like, woe is me, no one loves me, so let me just buy myself flowers. No. Really sit with that inner child part of me that feels like no one gives me attention, or my partner doesn't give me attention, or my mom didn't give me attention. Sit with her. Let her cry. Let her cuddle up in your lap, doing all the things that she needs to do. And I have an exact process of this in my nervous system reboot, by the way. I believe it's in the either the 3rd module or in the advanced trainings, but it's in the thing. So you can use the exact formula on how you can do this. So I would do that first. The second thing I would do is I would give someone else attention, whether it's my child or your dog or that lady that seems like she just needs to talk at the grocery store. I would give her the gift of my presence, because that's the thing that my psyche feels like I can't get. So I'm going to give it to myself first, then I'm going to give it to her. The third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find some place where I'm just going to receive. You might be thinking, but what if no one's giving to me? So for example, let's say that I'm trying to talk to my husband and he's not giving me attention, and that's my story. He doesn't give me attention. I'm just going to receive the attention anyways, and I'm going to say, thank you so much. I needed that right now. He might be very confused, like, what just happened here? But I'm just going to receive it anyways. And what this starts to do is it starts opening up your psyche to learn how to receive. And it starts dismantling that inner story that we have that we can't receive. Now, there is another way. I'm going to give you a little bonus of how to help your partner do this, because what you'll learn if you're engaged or married really quickly, that the thing that your partner keeps demanding from you is also the thing that they can't receive. I can't tell you how many of my clients have told me, Mina, he keeps asking for this, and then I do it, and then he says, you didn't do it right, or not this time. And it's like, you literally begged me to do this. I'm doing it right now, and you're saying I'm not doing it right. It's because, remember, that the thing that we desire the most, we also feel like we can't receive it. So the thing that we want the most, we also don't know how to receive it. This is not just for women, it's also for men. So if your partner is asking you to do something repeatedly, and you do it, and when you do it, he rejects you, you're going to do the give, give, receive. You're going to give yourself that thing, and you're like, but I don't want it, he wants it. That's okay. We're just going to follow the healing mechanism. You're going to give it to yourself first, receive it from yourself. Okay, you're giving it to yourself. Then you're going to give it to him. And even if he rejects it, you're going to receive that he received it. Okay, you're going to allow it to close that loop. Let me give you an example. So let's say that your partner says that you never do anything nice for me. You don't care about me. And so you're like, what? Of course I care about you. And so you're like, well, let me like make him some soup. You make him some soup, and it's like, I don't want your soup. Like, okay, well, I'm caring for you right now. You're not receiving it. So you're going to receive the care behind you making that soup. Okay, you're going to give it to yourself. You're going to say, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy the soup. I'm going to enjoy giving the soup to myself. give. Second give, you're going to say, okay, well, no problem. I'm just going to leave it out here. And if you change your mind, it's right here for you. You're just going to give it to him. And then you're going to close that loop. Instead of saying, well, that's it, and I'm never going to do anything for him ever again, you're going to receive that he received the soup. You're going to trust that he received your love, even though in the moment he is not showing it. So this is how an emotionally intelligent person can start now healing not only their own psyche, their own wounding, however big or small, but also their partner's wounding. Because right now we're in this mode of like, fine, like everyone's having like an emotional tantrum, right? Fine, I'm not going to do anything for you. Fine, if he's not going to do the, fine, I'll buy my own flowers. Fine, I don't need you anyways. But actually we do need each other. I mean, even the people that comment on my videos saying, you're a part of the problem, you know, because they want me to give Jerry Springer content about how we should all just hate men. And they say, I'm never going to get married. And I like, it's like, babe, you're still watching relationship content though. Like you're saying you don't want to get married. You're saying men are bad, but something in you is still addicted to watching relationship content. Like people who really believe they don't want to get married, they don't want to be in a relationship, they're out doing other things. They're not sitting there watching relationship content and commenting on it. Let me tell you, that's not how it, there's a lot of things I don't want to do in life. A lot of things. I can't even think of them because they're not even in front of my mind. But like, I don't want to learn how to, I don't know, drive a boat. I don't even know if it's the correct word, right? I'm not watching videos on driving boats and then commenting things on them because I don't want to do that. So like, I'm just focusing on the things I want to do, right? And so there's a lot of people that are emotionally wounded right now that are giving other emotionally wounded people advice, and we're all just creating more and more trauma and more wounding, but no one's actually taking the time to heal themselves and help heal other human beings. Like, we are a pair bonding species. Our presence, our healed nervous system helps heal other people. That's how we're designed. We're designed to heal each other. We're designed to pair bond. We're designed to emotionally upregulate each other. This affects everything. It affects our emotions, our life, our abundance. It affects our DNA, like we upregulate or downregulate each other's DNA. And so learning these like really essential skills, even though they might seem really inconvenient or annoying or like, I don't even know how to do this, like with any learned skill, it's a learned skill. There's going to be a learning gap in the beginning. There's a front loading process. It's really uncomfortable. But once you know these skills, it's life changing. You become a healing vessel for the entire planet, not just for your marriage. This is exactly the work that I teach inside of my courses, inside of my group containers. And I would absolutely love to have you in my 50-50 to provider course, which starts on May 20th. The link is in the description box, and I'll see you in there. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your key takeaways, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.